Hello and welcome to Chrysalis, Invictus. Today's reading is about magical spiritual gifts and abilities. So if you've been wondering, what are my gifts and abilities? I know that I kind of wandered around with that question for a very long time. This reading might be helpful for you. So as you can see, I have 4 different piles here from the Magickal spell cards deck. So we have 4 different options for you, but first I'd like us all to close our eyes and connect with the breath and calling in your guides, my guides, any energies or entities, ancestors, or higher selves that wish to be here with us today to deliver messages and guidance to help us on our way. And taking a deep breath in through the nose and releasing out through the nose. Letting the shoulders relax. Choose your pile from your intuition and we'll get started. Alright, so if you chose number 1, this is your reading. So I have 3 cards here that we're going to start with, and then I will be pulling further cards to give us more information if we need it. Okay, so let's start with the spell card. So we have knowledge. Let me connect above and below that the knowledge of ancestors flow. So first of all, there could be an ability to channel or for channeling or mediumship. There's definitely a deep connection to genealogy and ancestry here. And as well, there may be some connection to text. So illumination through reading history. You may receive messages from spirit as you're reading. So reading is more of a meditative exercise. I think it is, but I practice this kind of magic, I guess. So you know, this could be something that you do and you don't really know that you do it. But you really pull magic from history and from tradition, okay? So this strongly indicates an affinity for tradition. You may be very interested in ancient texts and things like that, and you may have a connection to ancient texts that is very spiritual rather than technical. So you may receive messages that others don't. Sometimes this can indicate that in a past life or in a past life that someone has left you a message. So for instance, if you lived a past life and you were friends with a poet, that poet may have written a line of poetry for you, and so you specifically understand the message of that line, and it's because you have a memory of that time. Okay. This could strongly indicate that you are someone who has been canonized, or your past self has been canonized, or someone in your family, in your ancestry, is part of the written record. Okay, so they are someone that people study, that their words are still alive today. Let's take a look at, okay, so you have the fox. Yeah, a lot of your gifts are intellectual, and you have this ability to kind of move in and out of worlds. So you may be a writer as well with this knowledge card, and your gifts come through in your writing. If you're not a writer, you're definitely a storyteller. Okay, so there's an ability here to frame things in metaphor or frame things in story that is a tremendous gift for the world. I feel that when you receive messages from spirit, they come through in riddles often. They come through in riddles or in poetry, again, where it's almost encoded, okay? And so the messages that come through you are actually deeper than something that comes out in a language that's intelligible, immediately intelligible, because someone has to walk around with that riddle and then unpack it. And so there's, you know, and you see this in ancient texts, that there's a deep wisdom in the thing that is not immediately understandable. With the fox energy, again, this is trickster energy. So there's an ability to cross through the veil or to travel to the other world and come back. So you can bring things back and forth. And if you think of something that carries a seed, you can go and plant a seed in your dream that will then cause an effect in the waking life. So this is a strong indication that whatever work you do in this world or the other world is infecting. It could infect. So there might be wounds that you can plant on either side. So while we have these gifts to plant and grow positive things, there can also be difficulty with that. So you may have struggled with bringing forward things that you planted, fears you planted in your dreams begin to grow in reality, and vice versa. So this means that you are, especially with the psychopomp or the trickster energy, that you travel between those two places, but you can use texts. This could also indicate that you can use certain objects or antiques, certain objects to travel between spaces. So you may be able to, getting that you may be able to touch things, or if you're holding a book in your hands, you may be able to travel through that book to the other world, or you may be able to pull information out from the object that you're holding. I'm getting that you are somewhat of a closed book, so if you feel that people have access to this information about you, it's because you have such ready access to this kind of information about people and things that you feel that others can, but you are actually a closed book. You are actually very hard for others to read. So be careful what other people say about you, that you don't necessarily take that on, because it could just be a reflection of them, like they're just bouncing off of you, because there isn't really anything, you're not really giving these things away. So deep and heavy connection here to spirit. Wow. And Bridget. Okay, yes. So poetry. Bridget is the goddess of the hearth. She's also a goddess of poetry, prophecy, and smithing. And the smith. So the blacksmith, the forger, creating things out of fire. Okay. You have a tremendous amount of earth and fire here available to you, which means that you are able to conjure reality. You're able to also transfer your gifts through something physical or written. So when you are creating a document, understanding that the words that you place there are traveling back and forth and planting seeds. Okay, so some caution should be used in the kinds of things that you actually commit to paper. Unknowingly you may curse someone by what you write about them. There could also be a way that you can correct things through this writing, but also through the crafting of things, okay, the crafting of objects. Bridget as an energy is a triple goddess energy, so it has the maiden, mother, crone aspect, and the healer, the smith, and the poet. There is a way, and if you want to, I specifically am guided with and work with Bridget, so if you are interested in the cauldrons, I may do a video about the cauldrons. There is a person who, Ellen Sentier, you can look her up, ELENSETIER, I think. She wrote a book called The Celtic Chakras. Okay, and in the Celtic Chakras, it's very much aligned with Bridget, and it's a work of Bridget, and it's an adaptation of the Celtic, or of the chakra system adapted to a Celtic model. So we use the spiral. Okay, and so these, and there are three cauldrons of healing. So you may want to take a look at that and start to integrate that into your practice, working from the heart to the third eye. A deep connection there. and it works a spiral and almost a filtration system of this knowledge, because what happens here in your gifts and abilities is that you have the ability to channel and you have the ability to pull from the root. But if you're only pulling from one side to the other and it's not going through this spiral, it can get really stuck or confused, okay? There can be a tendency here to be extreme, so very light or very heavy, and there is some need to work through these things, but definitely there's a lot of energy of prophecy here and poetry. So I want to also offer that poetry is not just the practice of writing poems. A poet is someone who uses metaphor and who conjures with language. So again, being very cautious about how you use language, and also being very aware that as you imbibe language, you are then bringing that in and strengthening your power. So reading is actually a way of tapping into spirit for you. And it's only going to help you to bring your gifts forward. Okay, so I'm going to get some more oracle cards to see if there's anything else we can know about your spiritual gifts. Dreams, like I said, dreams. So there is some aspect of your dreams that could be very hyper real or hyper connected to the material realm. So you will experience, if you are able to experience lucid dreams, and if you practice lucid dreams, you're able to plant seeds in those dreams that you can then make into a reality. So for instance, you can use dream work as your shadow work. So if you are experiencing some kind of distress in your dreams and you're able to lucid dream and conquer that dream, it will then reflect back into your reality, because it is constantly this traveling back and forth. But because, some people, so the difference between you and me, for instance, is that I stand at the gate and I look both ways at the same time. Okay, but where you are traveling back and forth. So there are things that you can achieve that I cannot achieve, because you're able to fully step into this realm of dreams and accomplish things. And then when you come out, you are fully stepped into this world and able to accomplish things here as well, and then take them back with you. Okay, so it's almost like you pollinate each of the worlds with things from each. So definitely asking for words to come forth and asking for gifts to come forth as you work with your guides. Hope. Okay, so I'm hearing here that there's something to do with balancing faith. Because you travel back and forth into these different landscapes and you fully surrender into each, so for instance, when you go into the dream world, you are not existing here in the same way. You're basically, your body becomes a shell and your consciousness is fully somewhere else. So because of this, there's this kind of faith that you can have in the process that others can't have. And so part of your gift is to affirm and to reassure people who do not have this. So you may find that some people are a lot more afraid of their gifts and abilities than you are. And part of that is that you are able to fully travel between, and you understand each, sort of the laws in physics, the laws of time and space in each space, where others are trying to understand things. They're not quite there yet. They don't necessarily know how to integrate this knowledge, but it's something that is just very easy and effortless for you. I feel that you have a lot of trust, but you can restore hope with these gifts. You're able to, I feel that you have this very radiant energy that makes people feel calm. Right, so you may have someone come forward and call you a fire bearer, for instance. So you carry a flame, you carry this energy, this light, this spiritual light, that then, so that others may follow, but it's also the sacred energy. And we have release. Okay, so there's something here to do with movement as well. If you are, when you are dancing, particularly, we have the full moon energy here. There is something about movement or dance. This could be yoga, dance, whatever kind of, maybe you have specific movements that you receive. This is also a way of you transforming or transmuting energy. Sorry, I forgot to mention that you can transmute energy. You have a lot of gifts, okay? That's one thing that I want to tell you. And if you are drawn to any other piles, I feel like there could be messages there for you as well, okay? Because I feel like we've only... what I'm hearing is we've only kind of touched the surface of what you have available to you. I feel you can work with elementals as well, so fairy people. There's this connection here to shamanism, so the movements and the base earth energies are available to you with this earth and fire energy. I'm told to leave it here, so if you are drawn to another pile, please choose from that pile. I hope this was illuminating, helpful, interesting. Please leave a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, and if you'd like to book a personal reading, my information is in the description box below. Take care. Pile number 2, welcome. So we're going to take a look at what your spiritual and magical gifts are. We're going to start with these 3 cards. And then we will move on to, I'll pull some further cards to get some more information if we need it. So we're starting with inspiration. Isis, goddess of magic, I ask thee to bring your inspiration to me. All right, so first of all, there's psychic gifts and abilities, okay? So you're able to channel information, I feel, very visually, but also through your heart space, okay? So your heart is very connected and very influential. So what this means is that, with an influential heart space, this means you can hold space for others. You can hold space for others to communicate their truth. So this is a huge part of your gifts. Another is that you may often act as a muse for people, that you open creative doors where they are able to open their heart and create once they've been around you. So the upper chakras from the crown, your third eye, your throat, and your heart are all very active. So the things that come through your mouth, the things that you see in your third eye, and the things that you receive and the healing energy that you receive through the crown are all highly aligned with your gifts. So this means that you are able to sing as well. So even if singing is not part of your practice now, it may be in the future that you will be able to sing healing for people. If you are guided to, or if you feel like you would like to participate in more magical practices, working with guided visualizations, meditations, perhaps you channel these things. Also singing, if you are able to craft things into song or allow songs to come through you, tones to come through you. This could also be working with singing bowls or things that affect the upper chakras in that way. So a lot of this is rooted in the heart space, with compassion and empathy. So you may feel other people's heartbreak, you may feel other people's things, but remember that you are able to influence that. So you can place, loving, peaceful heart energy around people. You can just watch it swirl up from the soles of their feet up to the crown of their head and place them in that safe place, okay? So this is part of your gifts. There's an indication here for sure that you could work with energy healing. So if you've had activations, or you don't necessarily have to formalize those activations. Some people like to do Reiki training, and that's how you get that kind of energy activation. But I feel like you could also naturally sort of ask your guides, how can I be better activated? There could be a lot of activations happening for you as well in nature. And then we have Rue. Okay, so there's a strong energy of protection and needing protection and keys. So you may be a person who is able to activate others. Your heart space, again, so much to do with the heart here. Your power source is activating for others, okay? But it's also something, it also means that you are able to activate yourself. So when I said, with some hesitancy that you can go to others for activation, I feel like your guides and the spirits and the energies and entities that are around you are able to activate you without the need of other people. And this comes from you working on your heart space and protecting your heart space. I feel that you may have a past of being very wounded in the heart, or being very sort of sensitive, quiet, reserved. And this is because, there may be a lot of water energy in your chart, in your astrology chart, but this is the woundings and the sensitivity. Rather than making you hard, you've just kind of become, you've stayed soft, which is so beautiful, and that's because your gifts are soft. The protection that you put around people is soft. It is gentle. Okay, Rue can be aggressive in when it's burnt and when you're trying to protect someone. So Rue is a herb of protection. It can help protect against the evil eye and things like that. But I feel that this is a much more gentle, soft kind of space holding that you're doing here. Okay. That it's a warm glow that you put around people rather than a hard boundary or something. So this could be when someone is also sensitive, when someone is also very, sweet and open-hearted, that you are an excellent ally for people like that. And then we have Soma, goddess. Okay, so something that I was picking up on here but I haven't mentioned is one of the aligned emotional issues, I guess you could say, with your gifts is anxiety, okay? And anxiety can manifest a lot in the body. So I feel that you are going to receive a lot of impressions, especially in the heart space, but there could also be information that you're receiving in your solar plexus and in your womb, or in your sacral chakra space, if you are someone who doesn't have a womb. So what that's calling in here, you've got this this ability to feel things in your body, but you can also transmute energy through your body. So with the mushrooms here, the mushrooms come to a dying tree, for instance, and they start to bring healing. They start to process things through them. So people may be coming to you to process energies through you. And what this means is that you may start to feel sick. And then someone will say, I felt so much better after seeing you, and you're feeling sick. You're laying down on the couch. So you take things from people, consciously or unconsciously, and as you start to develop your gifts, it will be more conscious. As you start to learn how to use these gifts, it will be more conscious, and you will start to know when to protect yourself from taking on those energies. So for instance, one of the weak points will be with the people you love. So if you have someone who is chronically ill in your presence, I would not recommend a career in nursing or something like that, or in massage therapy, or in anything where you're having direct physical contact with people. You don't even need that direct physical contact, but you could experience, even though you have this healing energy, you could experience a lot of burnouts, okay? So it's important for you to keep yourself protected from others, not that you are the victim of them, but that you understand that you are able to process this, and this is one of your gifts. And of course, every gift has that kind of curse energy to it as well, right? So it's a blessing and a curse that you're able to kind of take on these things and transmute the energy. So one of the things that you're being guided to do here is to learn how to transmute energy. Okay, so for instance, if there's a lot of hate and you start to absorb it, you absorb it like a sponge, you absorb it and you take it into your body. And then you visualize that hatred as, let's say, a ball of energy, and it's one color. So let's say that the hatred comes in as a bright red. Okay, eyes closed. This hatred is a bright red. You can feel it. You've drawn it into yourself. You now transmute it into love. So change it into pink. So influence that ball of energy into the color pink. And it may take a lot of energy to do this. You may feel exhausted as you're doing it. Stay with it until it turns pink. So you're infusing it with white light energy. So maybe you pull in, if you need to make it pink, you pull in from the crown chakra to turn that red to pink. Okay, so you're pulling in through the crown chakra. You have the support of the universe. And then you start to push it out from yourself. So you're sending it back out as love. So whoever has given that to you, or maybe it's a collective, maybe you're in traffic and there's the energy of anger, you've transmuted it into love, you send it out like a blast, like a nuclear blast from yourself. You send it out and radiate it out, taking nice deep breaths. Okay, so this is just one example of how you can start to transmute that energy and how you can start to empower yourself with these gifts. Because one of the difficulties is anxiety and feeling disempowered, okay? And dropping into that like victim mode space, which is only going to amplify the somatic issues, okay? So this is where the mind and the body are very connected. So if you're experiencing illness in the body, it is likely connected to something emotional or spiritual. Centering, yes. So this is something that not only do you provide for others, but that you will have to do on a regular basis because you are able to center other people. You're able to center people in their heart space. Okay, so this can be really helpful when it comes to reflection work. So if someone comes at you, so one of your gifts is that you're able to reflect things back to people. So if someone comes at you and they are angry, recognizing that anger is part of your reflective gift. And so they are more angry at themselves or at life in general than they are at you. This is not about you. It's not that you are that you have necessarily done something wrong, but that they are reflecting something back on you. So you may experience a lot of projection and gaslighting before you recognize what your gifts are. Okay, so, and with this inspiration and centering, when you're able to see yourself clearly, you will then inspire yourself. So before that, your gifts may be as muse, but after, you will be the muse of yourself as you start to learn how to use your gifts. So the same goes for this transmutation energy and for this ability to protect. It's almost as if, as you grow, you're better able to, your ability to do this for others grows in tandem with your ability to do this for yourself. There's a lot of mirroring here. And mirroring within, the different factions of ourselves, the mind, body, and spirit. Okay, and we have, discernment. Oh my gosh, with the 3 here. Yeah, so we have here a representation of see no, hear no, speak no, evil. Okay, I'm absolutely not allowed to speak any more on that discernment card at this moment. But I feel that it is giving you messages. So if you want to focus on this image, there's a message that is specifically for you. It's close to me. It's secret to me. That's just for you to know. And finally, we have transition. I feel that you also have the gift to appear and disappear when you need to. So there's an ability here to, if there is an energy, entity, person, something that you don't want them to see you, I feel that you can make yourself invisible or unknown. So it's almost like you can hide your energetic imprint from those energies, entities, people that you don't want to be connected to. There's also mushrooms here as well. Mushrooms may be very important for you. They could be a sacred plants. You may be drawn to mushrooms. Yeah, there's this kind of sheltering that you have access to. You can hide yourself. You can move undetected through this world and the other worlds. So you can achieve things and accomplish things that other people cannot, because you can influence others' energy without them seeing you or without them knowing you. So they don't have to necessarily connect with you in order for you to do that. So that to me means that you can shift energies before you walk into a space. I'm hearing that there is guidance all around you. Again, here with the invisibility and with me not being able to deliver certain messages to you, this is about really connecting in with your spirit guides, with those entities and energies that are around you that are guiding you. They are going to provide you with more information than anyone else can, because there are some things that are extremely private between you and them. So these are things that you cannot speak of, that you cannot see, and that cannot be heard by other ears. Okay, so that invisibility is part of your gift. All right, so I'm going to leave it there for you, pile number 2. I hope this reading was illuminating, interesting, whatever, whatever you needed it to be. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading or work with me in shadow work, my information is in the description box below. Okay, take care. If you chose pile number 3, this is your reading. So we're going to take a look at these 3 cards first, and then potentially pull some more oracle cards to get more information. Let's dig in here. Okay, so you have health. Mother Earth sweet, Mother Earth bright, bring me your health and might. All right, so you could have some strong Virgo placements. You don't have to, but one of the things that you are able to do, hands-on healing, is part of your gifts. Hands-on healing and regenerative. You have regenerative abilities in general, so things that you can regenerate energies, cells. You have this ability to kind of like come back from the dead almost over and over again. So you may experience a lot of rebirth cycles or a lot of different jobs, relationships, things in your life. There's also the ability to intuitively sense things in your body. Okay, so you're definitely clairsentience, and the strongest impressions are going to come through in your body and in your health. There's something here about margins. I keep hearing about margins, and I'm not quite sure what that means. That may mean something to you. What I've experienced with these other piles is that your guides are coming in, and some of the information that is to be delivered is private, and so it should come through to you as you're watching this reading, when you look at the card, or in the spaces between what I'm saying, okay? Because your guides are really heavily trying to connect with you right now. And there's something here to do with, there's something to do with your throat chakra in combination with your heart. So your throat and heart chakras working together, some sort of expression is potentially difficult here. You may experience choking a lot, okay? And then we have the tree here. This is the ash tree. Yeah, this is connection to so much. Okay, so a lot of your gifts actually work here in the middle world. All right, so the underworld is the world of the ancestors. It's the world of, like, you know, the things that have come before us. It's the earth. It's the regenerative physical earth. Okay, you are, and the branches are like reaching out, and they're connected like nerves to the upper worlds. The roots are like nerves into the lower world. And between them is the tree, the trunk of the tree. And the trunk of the tree receives wisdom from this world, so the world between, the middle worlds. And I feel like that is very much where your gifts are rooted. So a lot of your experiences may not be in the upper world or the underworld necessarily, so you may not be floating up here in the crown chakra, and you may not be deep down into the underworld. You're able to kind of bridge the space between. This can also be that your higher self is very much integrated in your body and is released through movements, and is released in the tissues and the cells of your body. Okay, so you are very much merged with your higher self in this, and there's also a strong, like, you have been reincarnated over and over and over again. So you have a lot of physical experiences. You may carry trauma in your body, but you have a lot of physical experiences that are aligned with past lives or ancestry. Okay, so there is so much here to do with your body. There's so much information in your body. And this can be tricky because what you eat, what you do, the way that you carry yourself is going to directly influence your ability to connect with your gifts. Okay, so for instance, if there are certain foods that you eat that are going to dampen your ability to connect in and to understand what's going on, you may actually be drawn to eating those foods because you may want to, your how do I put this? Your cravings are going to be the opposite of what you need, is something that's coming through for you. The ash tree is also it's the tree of life. Okay, so the tree of life is a bridge between certain things. So you may be used in certain situations, or you may align with connecting and channeling things that need to go from the upper world to the lower world. So one of the ways that you can maintain good health is to maintain a healthy channel, to let things just kind of come through you without stopping them or thinking that they're yours, or without having to keep them or store them. So I feel like there are impressions or things that come from ancestry that may be channeled through your body, through physical impressions, and they're meant to be channeled back up out through the crown chakra. So back out into the universe, like releasing that wisdom out into the universe. And when you are thinking that these things are coming in for you, you're blocking and storing them for yourself. But it's about busting open those channels and allowing them to go back out. This is very strange. I can really feel it though. So we have mermaids. Yeah, and again, so you are also a bridge between, you're a bridge. Think of your body as a bridge between the two worlds. So because you are receiving so heavily from both sides, you're able to enact your spiritual gifts in your physical body. There's also this bridge here between the material world and emotions. Okay, so your emotions are heavily connected to how you manifest things in this world or how you generate things in this world. So if your emotions are stuck, if your emotions are not, again, with that choking, if you are experiencing emotions that are not allowing you to speak, or if you're experiencing something that is not allowing you to speak, you're not able to generate what you need to generate. You may have a really strong, your emotions may strongly influence your body as well. So certain moods will actually shut down the body. But because of this, you're also able to use your emotions to boost the functionality of your material world. I'm hearing something about, I'm seeing hands like this and pouring out things into the earth, almost like you dig holes and then you send energy out through the palms. So something that you need to get rid of, let's say it's grief. So you let grief, and you see it in your mind's eye, or you look at your palms and you let it drain out into those holes, and you plant grief and you name it. So it's like a liquid that then turns into a seed, and then into the soil. What are you growing in that space? So as you release your emotions, as you release things in your body, you're actually using that to grow things. There's a heavy earth energy here, but it's also very influenced. It's very feminine. It's influenced by the, again, very Virgoan. It's very influenced by your emotions. Your emotions can be very overwhelming. Your emotions may actually shift and move objects in your home as well. So you may experience, like if you're experiencing turbulent emotions, things around you may be turbulent. So you have to be careful of that, especially, if you're operating a motor vehicle. Okay, kindred spirits. Interesting. So I'm hearing your gifts work in tandem with someone else. There's someone else who can be tethered to you, or you may be able to work with others and tether onto their gifts and abilities. Okay, so it's almost like not in such a negative way, but like Rogue, how she can take on other people's powers. I don't feel like you take on other people's powers necessarily, but you are able to actually, yeah, you can take on other people's, but it doesn't necessarily drain other people for you to do that as it does in like X-Men. But it's something like you can tether yourself to them, and you're able to kind of work in tandem with them. So whatever you are bound to here in the earth by being in the middle world, you can also work with someone who's able to work in the upper realms or work in the lower realms, and you can follow them in and out. But you're also able to do that for others. There could also be someone out there. So sometimes people call this a twin flame, but there could be someone out there or multiple people, soulmates, that kind of thing, where you will have specific psychic gifts and abilities with them, where you will both be able to experience things in each other's bodies, which could make it really intense sexually for sure, but also very awkward if it's a friendship. So that's just something to be aware of. Patience. There is something, there is a call here and a need here for you to allow processes to work through, because there's so much earth energy. These things do not move quickly, especially when they're mixed with water. That creates mud, right? Mud is slow moving. So I do feel like there's a lot of your gifts and abilities can often put you in a rut, or can slow things down for you. So again, there's so much strong indication here that movement is needed. Movement is needed, and keeping your body as healthy as possible. So much is processed through your body. And while you can work with energies to process that, like you can do that if it's in tandem with someone else, most of the time the way that you're going to be able to get it out of your body is to move. And then we have the card of peace. All right, so one of your gifts and abilities is the ability to grow things. So you may have a gift for growing plants or growing food, but you're also able to grow people. Okay, so there's a mothering, nurturing energy that I haven't even spoken of in this reading, but there's a mothering, nurturing energy here, where it's like you are able to channel in healing for other people. I guess I said that with the hands-on healing. You're able to channel in, pull in energy from both the crown and root and deliver it to other people. But again, if it's blocked inside of your body, it's going to just pull that energy out of others and put it inside of you. But there's this ability to cultivate a sense of peace in other people and in environments. Okay, this is definitely, with all of this earth energy, you're able to hold a space for others. And you can see here that there's a space that is specifically for you and other people. So you're able to pull people into this space, into this bubble. And within that bubble, this is where you generate magic, and this is where you generate healing. It may be important for you, again, with movement. The other option here for you as well, if you're feeling heavy or if you need to process these energies and get them out of your body, is to swim, to submerge yourself in water and ask the water to take it from you. You may have a patience for others, so there's an impatience here with your gifts that I feel coming off of you, but you have patience for others and for others' healing, and so you're able to hold this beautiful space for them to work through difficult things. There's a power in your presence for sure. And as you cultivate more patience with yourself, that power will only increase. As you're able to navigate those waters, the throat chakra will open. Yeah, there's a lot to do with balancing your emotions, where as you start to balance your emotions, you'll be able to express more healing, and your gifts will blossom. I'm feeling so much power here. All right, that's what I have for you, pile number 3. I hope this was illuminating, helpful, whatever you needed it to be. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. If you'd like to book a personal reading or work with me in shadow work, my information is in the description box below. Take care. Okay, pile number 4. If you chose pile number 4, this is your reading. We're taking a look at your magical and spiritual gifts and abilities. So we're going to start with this card here. Oh, you have 4 cards. We might pull some other oracle cards if we need them. I feel like we might not with you. So we have the card, True Love, Come to Me. True love shall come to me, as I do will, so mote it be. You actually have a gift of matchmaking and bridging people together, so you are able to cultivate love and connection. But I also feel like in this life, your spiritual gifts are heavily connected to another person. So you're also able to bring this love into yourself. Okay, so you will at some point be joined with someone who is a high-level soulmate, a complementary energy, where the two of you are able to work a certain kind of love or sex magic together. You definitely are able to work magic with others. You may also be someone who is able to hold space or be the connector for a coven or a group, a spiritual group. So you are able to create loving connections between others as well as to you. There's definitely a magnetism to you, and people may be drawn to you. You may have a chemistry with a lot of people, which means that you will have, you may potentially have a lot of soulmates, you may have a lot of friendships, you may have a lot of people just kind of drawn to wanting to be your friend or wanting to be close to you because you have this sort of love goddess energy. You will also have the gift of, likely the gift of glamour magic. So you'll be able to kind of, when you are in that loving energy, you will be very, very beautiful, and it will change your actual physical appearance. But the same goes for when you are in a poorly energy. You may look a bit haggard. You may not look as sweet or as inviting, but that's part of like the protection, the built-in protection of this magic. We have time. Okay, interesting. So what I'm getting here is that you are able to also, it's almost like in your presence, people feel like time either flies or time stands still. You have this ability to influence the way that time moves. I feel again that it's almost like the glamour magic, that it's connected to your mood. So depending on your mood, time will go fast or time will go slow, which is true for anyone, but this is also something that you are able to transfer onto other people. Okay, so this for me really feels like, I mean, if someone owned like an Airbnb or a resort or a retreat who held space in this way, what a gift that would be. Like, you are able to offer this to others. The other thing I'm getting here with time is that you are heavily connected to the cycles of the moon. I would encourage you, if you already work with the new moon or the full moon, to start looking at the different phases in between. Okay, so looking at the quarters of the moon, for instance, and only acknowledging the quarters of the moon if you're looking for a change. Okay, so if you are looking for change or something to shift the way that things are unfolding in your life, look to other phases of the moon to make that transition. So I said quarter moon, but it could be another time in the cycle, but moving away from what you have been working with up until now. So let's say you've constantly been working with the full moon. See if you might shift it to something else to make that change in your life. There's also something to do with birthing through water. So if you're trying to bring something into existence, it's using water to bring it through. So this could be if you are working to generate something, if you're working to manifest something, visualizing or somehow working it that it comes out of water. I'm seeing like cuttings of plants that start in water before they go to soil. That's kind of what's going on here. Is that, and again, that starts in the emotions, water being the emotions. Everything starts in the emotions for you. Let's see what else we have here. Initiation. And Caradwin. Okay, so there is some aspect of your energy or your personality, your gifts, that is able to initiate others. It's almost like you are the mother of, or you have underneath you a bunch of people who are, as you kind of initiate and level up, others follow you. Okay, so you have this very feminine energy, and people are drawn to you, attracted to you, they follow you. Within that is a responsibility, because here you are also the holder of, it's like you have children. It's almost like you psychically, you have children that are born underneath you. And so they are in need of your shelter and protection. I feel like you are a high level, like working as a high priestess or working as a space holder. There are a lot of people underneath you. And so this is really highlighting the responsibilities there. And that the Caradwin, so if you were drawn to another pile, you may have been drawn to a different pile where I had spoken of cauldrons. This is a similar energy. The cauldron here is a cauldron of inspiration. Okay, so what is within the cauldron is Awen, this life affirming energy, or this inspirational energy. And if it's given to the wrong people, it can change the course of everything. So there is some indication here that you have the ability to initiate and activate. And with the pentacles here, I feel like there's a strong connection to witchcraft. But there's also a message coming in that you have to be careful about who you're initiating and how you're holding that space. This is very interesting. You may be initiated through fire. I'm going to pull some more cards to see what other messages there are for you. Balance. I'm getting a strong, well, with balance, Libra energy here. It's interesting because this is the only pile where I've received kind of warnings or like sort of the tendency here in your energy is to favor the feminine, okay? Because that is what comes naturally to you. So the feminine energy is to be soft, is to be receptive, is to be nurturing. Yeah, this is about balancing your masculine and feminine energies. You may have a very balancing influence on other people as well. Again, with the masculine and feminine, it could be that that's because you're the bridge between the two. So you may bring together divine couples. You may be the connector of people who are able to kind of match each other in that way or find that kind of balance. I feel like there could also be here, no, what I'm getting, okay, so, sorry, that you're able to kind of balance whoever you're with. So you may drop into your masculine when someone is hyper feminine, or drop into the feminine when someone is hyper masculine. There may be some shifting that happens there. Purity. Okay, so this is part of what the warning is. There's this pure level of magic that comes to you. Okay, so this really potent, pure energy that comes to you. So if love comes to you, it comes in the most potent and pure form it can. And some people are not able to receive that kind of potent energy. So that's where the warning was coming in. I see like a crown around your head, a swirling crown around your head. And that there's this sort of constant flow of divine creation, divine information that you basically just breathe in and then you bring it forward. Like it's just so pure. And so it has to be diluted, and that's where the balance comes in. So if you have psychic abilities, when things come through to you psychically, this is about filtering all of that. And I talk about this on my channel a lot. Filtering the information from the crown through to the root so that it's purified, but it's like purified by all of the energy centers. So it's not just pure crown, pure divine knowledge coming through, but that it's filtered through something. So this could be about diluting that energy into writing. It could be diluting it into making things with the cauldron here. It could be that you are making products, that you are making things that go out to people, but it needs to be filtered through that. It needs to go out through something. Okay, so one of the things here would be that it's almost not for you to channel. I would highly recommend, even if you can, that maybe not doing that, not providing like channeling or psychic services, because what may come through may be too pure. And yes, people receive what they can. It's so tricky here. Like I'm feeling like I'm ping-ponging back and forth on this. Let's get another card. All right, with the time card, another thing that I'm getting here is that you are highly, highly influenced by past lives. So there could be someone, a guide that you're working with that is actually a past self, or knowledge that you are working with that is past self, especially when it comes to, and that's where the initiations come from, and that's where the ability to craft things comes from. This pile is making me very dizzy. There's such a duality here to this pile. Protection. Yeah. It's almost like sometimes you can be so potent that you are an unstable substance. Like people need a diluted version of you. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but just because of that ability to bring that divine energy in and through you. You could be very, very closely related to some kind of higher entity, like a deity, where they work very, very closely with you, and their energy coming through is so potent that it rips through time and space. Okay, so the magic that you have access to is not for everyone. And there is definitely a need for, swans may be significant to you. There's definitely a need for values. want some advice. I want to pull some more cards. I'm feeling so many things right now that I just really want to pull some cards and find out. I want some advice about this balance. Talk to me about balance here. I definitely did not do this with any other. Okay, so there may be situations where you are delivering your gift. You may be, you know, like I said, space holding. You may have the ability to see connections between people or bridge connections between people, initiate people, create products for people. Whatever it is that you're doing, I feel like you're connecting with a lot of people through your gifts. One of the messages here with the Seven of Swords reversed is that you cannot get away with things, okay? There's some high stakes things here going on. So if there is any untruth, if there is any deception, if there is anything in yourself where you are deceiving yourself or you are untrue to yourself, if you are not aligned with your values or with higher values, that can be problematic here. Okay, the Seven of Swords, you know, it's like stealing the 5 different swords. It's like stealing other people's work, stealing other people's things. There's definitely this sense of like, just because you can doesn't mean you should. I feel like it's such a strong thing that's coming in here, and it's only because you were working with such potent magic. Okay, and the Queen of Swords. Yeah, discernment. I wanted to say discernment, but it wasn't here. Discernment is a key word for you, okay? Discerning whether or not someone should. And, okay, so like, for instance, you're holding space for people, and we all know in the spiritual and magical community that there are some people who have mental health issues. So if you have someone coming to you that you know to be schizophrenic, to feed them more initiations or more forms of magic, or to initiate them further, they don't have the same balancing mechanisms that we may have. This goes along with receiving magic from others. Sometimes people come to activate us or to initiate us, and they are activated and they're initiated into something that is detrimental to our health and well-being. So just because spirit is coming through to you, or a deity is coming through to you, or an energy is coming through to you, doesn't mean that you have to invite it in, doesn't mean that you have to deliver it to other people. You can say no. And so I feel like part of your spiritual journey, or part of your part of this like high level spiritual gifts, is to use this discernment to and to gatekeep, and to say yes or no. I'm not going to allow this to come through. And maybe something comes through, and you put it in something, and you know, whatever your magical practice is, you put it into something that you then bury and allow the earth to transmute it. Right? If it's something that shouldn't really go through to other people. But I do see that here. And we have to keep in mind that as space holders for these spiritual practices, and I try and do this with my readings, filter it through down to my root, and know that even though it's coming in through the crown, doesn't mean that everyone that is going to receive it is going to receive it in a healthy way. Some people continuously open doors in their mind that they should keep closed, because they are not ready for it, because they do not have the coping mechanisms or the support system to open those doors. So if you are giving out magic, or if you are working magic with other people, or you are working with your spiritual gifts and abilities, this is something to consider. Also, if you are connecting people romantically, though people may, you may see it very clearly, if someone is heavily rooted in some sort of trauma, it may not be the time. So one of the things is it the right time? And you can always connect with, I mean, you're heavily connected, you can always connect with your guides, but I would definitely connect back with them and ask if it is the right person, if it is the right time. Okay, so that is the message that I have for you. I hope this was helpful, interesting, illuminating, whatever it needed to be for you. If you'd like to work with me personally, my information is in the description box below. Please like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care.